Hello, good afternoon. My name is Martin Coward, and welcome to Noonday Meditations and Contemplative Prayer Power Hour. We have been gathering together every day at noon, except Sunday, to create this virtual sanctuary, this refuge from all the drama in the world right now, to love and support each other through this pandemic and the challenges our world is facing today. Woo, there has been no shortage of drama. And I'm just wondering if all that's going on could be expanding our capacity to love. I would say it certainly, that's been my experience, is that I've gotten to the point where I've had to sit down and get to know myself better and get to know what I'm capable of and what some of and the people that I've gotten to know here are capable of. I believe we are really learning how to truly love ourselves and to love our neighbor as ourselves. Wow. And you know what? You know what oddly expands our capacity to love? Fear. Because fear takes courage. It takes courage to face our fears. Hey, Mindy, how are you doing today? I am glad to see you here as I'm uh, excitingly awaiting my live uh, news radio show today at 4 o'clock. I hope y'all can join me. But let's take care of this live show right now. Hey, Audrey, nice to have you here with us today, as always. And we're talking about expanding our capacity to love. And Jesus commanded us, as we all know, and whether you're a Christian or not, it doesn't really matter. It's a great commandment. Living by a commandment or living by a mantra that says to love your God, your Lord, with all your heart and all your mind, and to love your neighbor as yourself. It's a pretty good way to live your life, you know. And if that's the only commandment that we've got, we really that's the major commandment we got from Jesus. I think whether we're Christian or not, we can all live by that. And the world would certainly be a more user friendly place to be, and we've been living by that all along. So I'm beginning to understand that as we've gotten more and more connected, let's call it, we've gotten more connected. We've also gotten to know each other's fears. We've gotten to know, and we've gotten more intimate with our own fear. And we've realized that fear is more scary than whatever we're afraid of. You know, I mean, let's just say, and when we woke up last week and we found so many of our fellow brothers and sisters in different parts of the camp, let's say, I realized that we're still a lot of fear on both sides of the camp. It's not like I got fear and they don't have. We all got fear. We got fear of each other. We got fear of them. We got fear of the virus. We got fear. There's a lot for us to be afraid of, and a lot for us to learn from. And when we're learning how to accept those parts of ourselves we don't necessarily like to look at, that's called the shadow, the parts of ourselves that we don't like, the we hide, repress, and deny. And we often can see those in the reflection of those in what we call the other, someone we perceive as our enemy. Maybe the Republicans see us liberal Democrats as the enemy. And I certainly know that plenty of our liberal Democrats see the Republican as the enemy. Okay? Because that's a story in our head. That's a fear driven. So there is no enemy. And I think that's what we're going to learn here. I think when it's all said and done, we're going to learn that we have much more in common with each other than we have to be afraid of. Because I know behind all that fear, is a spark of life, of love and gold. So if we're willing, if we want to expand our capacity to love, if we're willing to have the courage to face our fears And we can see that in the reflection of the people we claim to be our enemy, and we can accept those. We can accept those characters, those behaviors that we don't like, both in them and in ourselves. Then won't we be a more united country? Isn't that how we're going to heal? By expanding our capacity to love, you know, loving ourselves and loving our neighbor as. And we come here every day, and we come here every single day to expand our capacity to love ourselves and each other. That's what contemplative prayer is. It's about going inside and letting go of all your beliefs and opinions and fears and other ego constructions that we create to get more intimate with ourselves and with that fear. Because we have to kind of go into the fear and the negative feelings around the fear and get to know that intimately to expand our capacity to love. Hafez writes that fear is the cheapest. It is the cheapest room in the house. That is a great way to put it. It is the cheapest room in the house. I believe it as that. I would like to see you living in better. You like to see me personally living in better conditions? I live in great conditions. I live in great conditions. I don't know if I don't quite follow that comment, but I don't live in a lot of fear. I can say that. I've certainly learned how to get intimate with it, and so I don't have a lot of fear, quite frankly, most of the time. Oh, I guess he's talking about he wants. I got you. So he's saying that. Um, let me just. Hey, there's our friend from Bangladesh. Nice to have you with us today. Glad you could be here. It's just such a thrill to have people join me from all over the world and find value in this. It's quite lovely, actually. Um, I get. Oh, I see. It's kind of the following. He's saying that you know what if fear is the cheapest room in the house, then I want to see you living in a more in better conditions and better. I want to see you in a wealthier room without the fear. I guess is that what he's trying to say? Yeah, that makes sense. I got you. I understand. Yeah, um, it is. But we all have that. There's plenty of it to go around. And the question becomes then, how do we turn that fear into something that's valuable? How do we make that fear work for us so that we actually can let go of the cheap room in the house and we can move into the abundance that we are. That's a good, and that's a good. I like that idea actually because we when we live in fear, we live in scarcity. We live in the scarcity of not enough money, not enough resources, and we have to kind of climb our way up to the top and prove we're valuable, prove that we're worth something. When that's just all one great big huge lie. And that's why it's so cheap because everybody buys into that lie at least at some point in their lives. I mean, particularly in our culture where we're consumer and how much you consume, you were valued by how big your house was and how big your yacht was, and I mean, just look at some of the political leaders, and that's coming. It's almost painful to watch some of the leaders still holding on to power. This perception of power, this drunken notion that they're somehow they're more valuable than anybody else, and it's painful. And as the wave swells of love, and we can look at people that are in that place of fear of losing power. That's what it is. It's their fear of losing their perception of power, because in their mind they think they're better than the average person. They think they deserve it because they're smarter, wiser, whatever they think they are. But the reality is, from the heart's perspective, we know there's no such thing. There is no superior position because there's no such thing as a superior position. That is totally a power trip of the ego, because it always has to find itself to be in a superior position to someone else or something else. And that's just simply not true. But until they've woken up to the truth of, and maybe they need to experience that fear, or maybe they need to be grounded a little bit. But that's not my job. That is not my job. Yes. Yes, it is. And but fear is it's a powerful illusion, isn't it? I mean, look what it's done. Look what it does. People use fear itself. Fear itself is powerless. Fear is just a shadow. But what human beings have done with it is a disaster. It's dangerous. I mean, that's the problem. You get people who are fear driven running the country, which we've had for the last 4 years, and they can do some serious damage. I mean, we got 100 and almost now about over 140,000. How many would we have? We've got. I can't even count the number. We had. I get so confused. The number between the number of new cases every day and the number of people who died are just boggle my mind. Just truly boggle my mind, because every one of those are people, human beings, with families and loved ones, and it's just tragic. And that's the result of someone drunk on fear and drunk on power. And we keep waiting on certain, but particularly in the Republican Party, them to sort of like wake up to the truth. They're not going to wake up to the truth. This is who they are. And they're scared of losing power. And they're going to do everything they can. They don't care who dies or who gets hurt in the meantime. That's all they care about, themselves. I mean, look at their leader. And it's not look at the leader as the person, but I'm looking at the behavior, the destructive behavior. I'm looking at the destructive behavior. Behind all that is the same thing as in us, is a life of, but I don't know if they've ever experienced it. I don't know what it is, but their behavior is driven by fear. And our behavior, my behavior, is most of the time driven by love. And when it's being driven by fear, we have the courage to look at that. And when we look at that, it expands our capacity to love. We just go bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. That's a much, much more exciting way to live. So let's read really quickly here. Let's read what Richard Rohr has to say today. He's been writing some really juicy stuff in the last few weeks, this week, about as ways to guide us through this. The transforming power of love. God, the lover of life. Friday the 13th. Here we are. Love is who you are. When you don't live according to love, you're outside of being. You're not being real. When you love, you're acting according to your deepest being, your deepest truth. You are operating according to your dignity. Richard Rohr. Drawing from my many years of teaching, I can honestly say that the most powerful, most needed, and most essential teaching is always about love. Love is our foundation and our destiny. It's where we come from and where we're headed. As St. Paul famously says, so faith, hope, and love remain, but the greatest of these is love. Paul's letter to the Corinthians. My hope, whenever I speak or write, is to help clear away the impediments to receiving, allowing, trusting, and participating in a foundational love. God's love is planted inside each of us as the Holy Spirit, who, according to Jesus, will teach you everything and remind you of all that I told you. Love is who you are. All I can do is remind you of what you already know deep within your true self and invite you to live connected to this source. The first letter of John reminds us God is love, and whoever remains in love remains in God, and God in him or her. The first letter of John. The creation story in Genesis says that we are created in the very image and likeness of God, who is love. Out of the Trinity's generative, loving relationship, creation takes form, mirroring its creator. We are mirrors of the creation, of the creator. That's something to be excited about, right? Yeah, it doesn't matter if you're a Republican or a Democrat, if you're in Bangladesh or you're right here in the United States. That's true for every single human being on the planet. Loving, we take form mirroring its creator. Mirroring our creator. We are mirrors of the creator. Which is why there is no such thing as bad or good. There's only what is. If we are truly created in the image and likeness of God, then our family of origin is divine. We were created by a loving God to be love in the world. Our core is original blessing, not original sin. Our starting point is positive, and as it is written in the first chapter of the Bible, it is very good. We do have a good place to go home. If the beginning is right, the rest is made considerably easier because we know and can trust the clear direction of our life's tangent. We must overcome the illusion of separateness. It is the primary task of religion to communicate not worthiness but union, to reconnect people to their original identity, hidden with Christ in God. God's description is to draw us back into primal and intimate relationship. May we pray together. May we pray together. This is a prayer, so I'm going to invite all of us to pray this together. I'll read it. It's quite a pretty prayer, too. God, lover of life, lover of these things. God, lover of our souls, lover of our bodies, lover of all that exist. In fact, it is your love that keeps it all alive. May we live in this love. May we never doubt this love. May we know that we are love, that we are created for love, that we are a reflection of you, that you love yourself and us, and therefore we are perfectly lovable. May we never doubt this deep. May we never doubt this deep and abiding and perfect goodness. We are because you are. That's a beautiful prayer, isn't it? It's a great prayer for us to kind of use as our centering prayer, if you will, or our spiritual bombardment of the human mind. Anybody got any comments on that they want to add? Let's get this timer going. And let's get a, let me turn off, oh, wait a minute, hold on. I need to turn off my phone so it doesn't ring while we're meditating. So again, I'm going to invite you. Let's just before we, let's chat with that. That's true. If you can't love people, you can't be a good Muslim. Hadath saying. That's true. If you don't have the capacity, because that's what we are. Whether you're a Muslim or a Christian or maybe even a non-believer in God. I mean, you don't have to believe in. You don't have to have a particular path. I don't think we have to love everybody, and because that's what we are. But it's difficult to be a disciple, to be a reflection of the Creator, whether that's a Muslim or a Christian or a Jew, whatever those things might be. However you find your narrative, if you will, your story. Without love, what's left? You know, but that's really all we are. You take away the story, all that's left is love. So yeah, I would certainly say that if you can't love people, and some people have a hard time loving. There are a lot of people who don't know how, I think I spoke to you, but there are people who don't know how to love. So I don't know if you know. I don't know that it would be that you're not a good Muslim. You're just in the dark. You know. So you could. It's really about loving. You can't love yourself, and you can't love your neighbor. Um, and but I think you were the one that was talking about to me the other day that you feel like one of your gifts is being able to is to be able to teach people how to love. What a wonderful gift that is, because there are people who don't know how. They've never learned how. They've never experienced it. We've all and I've been in places. I've been in times in my life where I didn't experience love. I was in too much fear and darkness to even know that love existed. I didn't feel like I was worthy of it. All kinds of things. So, as a teacher of love, then you got a lot of work cut out you, my friend. That's what we're doing. We're all in this together to teach people who haven't understood love yet how to do it. This is it. This is how we do it. This is how we love. We come and we share our truth, but we also love ourselves by I sit in circles with men doing shadow work, and that's how we express love. We look at those things about ourselves we don't like, and we grow from that. Love is not confined to anything. You're right. Love is not confined to anything. It has no limits because that's all there is. It doesn't. It alone is life. There is nothing else. There is nothing else but love. I know. And we as Christians call it the universal Christ. We can't be alive and not be love and not experience love and not we can create the illusion through fear that we're disconnected from love, but you can't disconnect from love because that's what we are. It's like water can't disconnect from water. It's water. So, it's just water. Love is just love, and you can't. That's what everything is. So it's not going to disconnect. It is infinite. Yes, infinite intelligence. Infinite. There's no. There's. It's limitless time. It's formless. It is infinite, and it is powerful. And it's so far. While we experience it and we know about it because we've experienced it, it is so far beyond the understanding of the human brain. Every word we say is only pointing us to it. Because anything we say, even when I'm reading now, it's just pointing to the idea of love. It's creating a thought of love. And the thought becomes an object. So we have to get the space around the object and to fall back into love. That's what we do when we meditate. And I say, now let's let go of all your thoughts, your your judgments, your opinions, your stories. That's surrendering all of these concepts we have about the world to allow ourselves to experience something that transcends the human mind. And that's the truth of who we are and what we are. Love. Good. Thank you. I love it when people chime in like this and bring their their wisdom and their truth and their beauty to the conversation. It just makes things so much more exciting in so many ways because we're all here together. I mean, I put it together with this. I create the container for us, but it's for everybody to share their fear and their truth. If maybe you've got a story or a belief that you need to look at that's keeping you from loving yourself and loving others. So, this is a safe place um, for that. So I appreciate all of that comment. Now we'll meditate. Raise your arms up in the air. Raise your arms up into the air and just feel, you know, you move your hands, feel the energy. What's it like to be you today? What is it like to have that love life energy in you? Magical. Move your fingers, move your toes. It's a miracle. We're miracles. You think about it, really. Or not think about it. So, let's do a little conscious breathing. And that's just bringing into our consciousness what we do all day long that's vital to life, and that's breathe. And just allow yourself to sit in being and soften the brain, soften the mind, loosen up the thoughts, loosen up your beliefs, loosen up your opinions, unravel your story, and let it all go. Everything. Hold on to nothing. Surrender your fear. Surrender your judgments. Surrender your opinions. to God. To create space for new. Let go of everything and fall into the stillness of unconditional love. Be in that experience of unconditional love without thought. Allow the sound of the bell to wake us up. Let go of our stories and our beliefs and opinions. Let them go and fall back into the stillness of unconditional love. Allow the sound of the bell and my voice to wake us up to any thoughts, beliefs, opinions, stories, narratives we might have found ourselves lost in, and let them go and fall back into the stillness of unconditional love. Allow that sound, that bell in my voice, to wake us up out of our trances, out of our stories, out of our narratives, out of our beliefs, so we can drop them, let them go, and fall back into the stillness of unconditional love. There's our final bell. Yes, it is infinite. How are we doing? What you want to add? I want to invite all of you today, if you can, show up for. Let me give you the link to it. In the chat. I don't know what that is. I thought I was copying the link address to my show today, but that's just a bunch of nonsense. Why won't they let me? Why won't they let me? Why can't I copy that? I was going to put my Copy. Let me try this. Try this and see if this will work. You know, I'm doing a Facebook. I'm doing a Broadway. I'm doing a. Here we go. If you can today, I'm going to be at 4 o'clock on Business Talk Radio for a 30-minute segment. They're going to be interviewing me. And I'm going to be sharing some things people can do immediately to stop worrying about money and start to enjoy making money in the moment. So you want to find that out. Tune in at 4 o'clock on Business Talk Radio, Studio 4. And there I'll be. I'm excited about this. It's really exciting that they reached out to me. I don't know, to have a major business radio want to talk to me about spiritual principles and wisdom and truth about making money is it's just exciting. And I'd love for y'all to come join me today if you can. And we'll see what happens. But I'm pretty excited about it. If we have nothing else to say about today, and I'm going to sign us off and get us out of here. And if you have a chance, sit down with your journal and write about love. Write about how you're expanding your capacity to love. And give people an opportunity to love you. Expanding our capacity means expanding our capacity to both give and receive love. Are you withholding your love from someone you perceive as an enemy? I catch myself doing that sometimes. That's a shadow thought. Thank you, Mindy. Thank you so much. Yeah, we got a lot of things going on. You know, this is something I look forward to this every day. It's kind of how I ground myself. This is how I prepare myself. And, if you want to learn something, you teach it. You want to master something, you teach it. So I've learned a lot about myself and these universal truths and spiritual laws, spiritual principles I talk about. Yeah, it's all nice. It's an exciting way to live. We're living in some exciting times, and I am fully optimistic about our future, and I'm particularly excited about the mandate of our current leader, our leadership in this country that's stepping into power, and that mandate is to unify us and help heal this country and get this virus under control. And I am in full support of that. And that's what I'm doing, and that's what we're doing, and that's what I'm encouraging to do. And that is my first and foremost primary objective right now, is to do my part in helping to heal the wounds that divide us, and to do my part by wearing a mask as a statement of solidarity, as a statement of love for myself, for life, and for others. And I ask that you do the same. Wear a mask. It's a simple act of kindness. Yeah. So, may love and prosperity continue to prevail. Much love.